course, if you have any questions during this meeting, please feel free to ask. If we can answer your questions, we'll try to, but if not, we'll have to make note of it and get back to you. I'm sorry, Nelena, were you saying something?
I was just going to show you where to start recording, but it sounds like
Okay.
someone helped you.
Thank you. So I'm going to turn it over to Jasmine. And Jasmine, if you can share your screen and go forth.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. So, I'm gonna be doing just showing you how to do everything in the training environment. So if you see something that may look different from what you're seeing in your live ELS, that's why it's because I'm in the training environment. But everything should generally be the same. And like Ebony said, I did create a step-by-step guide for you guys to be able to use after this training. And if you have any questions, just let us know. So I'll start with showing you guys how to go in and update a non-compliant regulation. So it's when you get those overdues. Um, Whenever our specialists go out and site for something, things that will need to go back and be corrected. I'm gonna show you how to do that. Can everybody see my screen? Yeah. Okay. So from your home page should look like this. You'll go to your facility. So your facility should show under here under my facilities. You can get to it from there, or you can type it in the search bar, or you can go over here to this drop down box under facilities and go to my facilities. So for you guys, it'll just be Division of Children and Family Services. You can just type that up there. For training purposes, I'm going to be using this facility that I created in the training environment. So I want to click on it. It'll bring me to the facility homepage here. I'm going to go to the right side of the screen and find the inspections tab. So you need to look for this. So the inspection that you'll need to go to will have to be communicated to you. So how it's supposed to work is whenever a specialist goes out and sites for something, they're supposed to be able to. Oh, slow. Okay, I'm gonna slow down a little bit. I was asked to slow down. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to my facilities homepage and just explain something real quick for background purposes. So whenever our specialists go out and search for something, they're supposed to be able to assign that non-compliant regulation to a resource worker, so you'll be able to get a notification like this up here in the bell. It should give you a notification that a non-compliant regulation has been assigned to you, and you should be able to get to it from there. But if not, you will need to know which inspection you need to go to in order to get to that non-compliant regulation. So I'm going to hit view all over here, and you can either get the licensing specialist, ask them for the inspection number that you need to go to, or you can look at it and know by the date, the inspection date. Otherwise, you'll have to be in communication with the licensing specialist to know which inspection you need to go into for that non-compliant regulation. Okay, so I'm going to click on this very last inspection, and you will always click on the inspection number to get to it. So this is just something the specialist went out, they completed the visit. This is where all the citations will be over here under rules inspected. You can see the non-compliant regulation at the very top. It'll be the first one. You can click on it by clicking on the rule inspected number, and it'll bring you to this page. And this is where you guys will put in all of your information and update the non-compliant regulation. So I'll hit edit. You can either hit edit at the top over here in the top right corner, or you can hit the edit pencil to get to the edit screen. So I'm going to hit edit over here in the top right corner, and it'll bring me, pop out this box for me to be able to fill in. So what you guys will be changing is the comply date. You'll be entering in a comment under the alternative description box, and you'll be changing this result from non-compliant to compliant. This should be filled in already. The action due date is just going to be whatever date the specialist gave the foster parent when it needs to be corrected by. And then the action due description will also be filled in by the specialist, letting you know what needs to be fixed and what needed to be done at that foster home. So what you'll be changing is the comply date, which is going to be whichever date the foster parent's home came into compliance. So if we went out there and said a window was broken and it needs to be fixed, you would go to the comply date and put whatever date the window was fixed.
Hey, Jasmine, can you go ahead and
Yeah.
enter that information for the action due date?
Yes. Yeah. So we'll say this was due on July 28th. Say okay. So then you as the DCFS resource worker will go in and change this comply date whenever that window has been fixed. So we'll say it was fixed by that action due date. And you'll just enter a comment under here under the alternative description. And you'll put your comment there. And in the training environment, it does not allow me to change this result from non-compliant to compliant, but that is a function that you should be able to go in and change. You'll need to change that from non-compliant to compliant. So the only things you guys are changing here is the comply date, and you're going down and changing the result from non-compliant to compliant, and you're entering in your comment here in the alternative description box. And then you'll hit save. Okay, once you hit save, it'll just bring you back to this home screen. You should see all the changes that you made appear over here. And over here, you can upload any photos, attachments, documents, or anything that you need to upload. You just click upload files and choose the file you want to upload from your computer. And that's pretty much it for that. And if you wanted to request an extension for an action that's due or anything like that, you'll just need to email the specialist and let them know, and they'll have to go in and change that action due date to a further date. You guys have any questions on this?
I have one. So this is Elena. The last modified by. So that just captures who made a last update to this entire section and day and time. It don't tell specifically who did what.
Correct. It won't say what you changed. It'll just note that you did come in and modify something on here.
Okay. And then action due date. Did I hear you say that will already be system populated or?
That is something our specialists will have already put in. Yes.
Okay. Not DCFS, but the DCCECE specialist?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And I assume there's logic like my comply date can't be prior to my action or prior to, is there an error begin date or no? There's not a date that it started?
So the whatever date our specialist went out and completed this inspection will be the inspection start date, but the action due date is what matters here. It's just it'll show it's overdue if you go in and try to correct this after this date. But you can always go in and correct it before this date. Um like once it's entered into the system.
Okay, so if it's overdue, what does that mean? It just shows overdue. Like if I did 7/29.
It's just just be past this date, but you can still mark it as corrected and change this as long as you change this to compliant. This from non-compliant to compliant, it should update and be fine, even if you put in a comply date after the action due date.
Oh, Jasper, can you change the comply date and see what it does?
So you can still change it to the date after. It's just you complied after the action due date. And again, this should stay compliant. It's just that it didn't give me the option in the training environment to change it from non-compliant to compliant.
And so the resource worker shouldn't have any capabilities of changing the action due date.
No, no. So I have roles in here as a specialist. That's why I can change the action due date and the action due description. But you guys should only have access, the resource worker should only have access to change the comply date and the result and the alternative description box.
Do you guys need for us to walk through that again?
Now, I got a question on the upload files. Are you guys going to be expected for us to upload something like every time, or is it just like for pictures? Like, for instance, if we're cited because the foster parent wasn't provided a copy of the case plan or something like that, or renter's insurance or something like that, are we going to have to upload a copy of that, or can we just document this
So,
if they
so
not have it?
you will continue as you've been doing before.
Okay.
So we don't require you to upload documents each and every time, but for instance, just for like this certain example, if you wanted to show proof that the window had been fixed, and a lot of resource workers send us a picture, and they had that option also to upload those pictures of the window that
Okay.
has been fixed.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. And so she brought up a good point. So uploading like insurance and so, Jasmine, can you show them where they would need to do that?
So it will be here, still under
Mhm.
upload, notes under notes and attachments. You'll just hit upload files, and it'll pull up your the documents you have on your computer. So we'll have to be saved on your computer, and then you can just click on it and upload it from there. I guess I could just upload something, and it'll show there whatever you uploaded.
Have any of you all like tried to log in yet? Because I know earlier a lot of us had issues with just logging on into the ELS system. So I just want to make sure that you guys are okay.
Do they have the new link and what their login is?
They should have been emailed that information from what I was told. If not, then we can check on that as well. But I don't know if they received it.
Is it still going to be the same that only the assigned resource worker that's assigned to those homes will be able to correct the violations? Because if right now, like as a supervisor, I can't go in there and correct it because it's assigned to my staff. But I help out a lot.
So I believe it'll be just the person that is assigned to any citations. We may have editing capabilities if you guys let us know that, hey, could you please change this to Mr. and Yes Sims, and we may be able to do so. But that's something I can follow up on.
Okay.
Anybody else have any more questions on updating the non-compliant regulation?
I had a question on my facility. So will they all have an assignment where they have a specific list that they've already been assigned to see my facilities?
So I'm not sure how it would show for you guys. Because what's supposed to happen is whenever our specialists go out and site for something, you're supposed to get a notification that you've been assigned a non-compliant regulation. We'll have to go in and see what that function looks like. I know you should get a notification here and be able to click on it and go to it from there. I'm not sure if they're gonna have a section on your homepage for like maybe it'll say my non-compliant regulations or something like that. But this is all the facilities that will show that it's assigned to our specialists. And I was saying you can get to your facility, Division of Children and Family Services, by typing. I don't know if it will show under here under my facilities. It will probably only be Division of Children and Family Services, or you can type it up here under Division, on in a search bar and go to it from there. You're just needing to find that home that they completed that inspection under and cited that non-regulation, that non-compliant regulation for. So you can do that from your notification that you should get, or you can go to your facility's homepage, and to the right side of this screen here, if you scroll down to homes, it should pull up all of the homes assigned under your facility. Again, this is the training environment, so it's not going to show me anything, but you could find that home from there and go to that inspection, as I showed you guys before, and go to it from there. It's kinda hard to tell you exactly since I don't know what yours will look like, because 'cause you'll have different access to things, than I do. So,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Okay. So I was just gonna say, I don't know if I answered your question. I hope so. But if you guys have any more questions on the non-compliant regulation, updating it to compliant,
Can you walk through it one more time?
so I'll do a different.
Just curious, so is this pretty similar to how Pearls was? Because I don't know Pearls, but is that why no questions? Maybe everybody's like, oh yeah. Just curious. DCFS
I'm really
user.
not sure how DCFS entered information further.
Danielle, can you answer? I see you're on Sims.
I didn't hear the question.
Is this similar to Pearls? Because I didn't work in Pearls, so I was just curious. Is that why there's no questions? Like this is pretty similar?
The process, yes, is basically the same. Now the format that I'm looking at here on the screen is different.
Mhm.
Just a tad bit different.
Okay.
And again, you guys, I did send like a step-by-step guide with screenshots and everything, to direct you where to go. Like if you forget or anything or have any questions after this training. So I'll just
Oh,
do one more. Oh, somebody had a question. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I had put this in the chat, but I'm just curious. I was trying to get logged in and it's not accepting my username and password. And so I didn't know if I needed to set up an account or what I needed to do or where I would find that.
Yeah, I'll let the enterprise team know. I think Sandy had the same issue a minute ago, so I'll reach out to them. And if any of you cannot, just let me know so I can pass that information forward.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm just gonna do one more example for changing a non-compliant to compliant. So I'm on my facilities homepage. For you guys, this will say Division of Children and Family Services at the top. I'm gonna go to the right side of my screen and scroll down to homes. Okay, and let's just say this is the home that the specialist went out to and created the inspection for, and I'm trying to get to the non-compliant regulation I need to update. I'm going to click on this home. I'm going to go over to the right side of the page and scroll down till I see inspections. Okay, and I'm going to choose the inspection I need to go into to update that non-compliant regulation. So this is the inspection. Over to the right side of the screen, you'll find the rules inspected. These are all the regulations that the specialist went out and checked for. The non-compliant regulation will show at the top. So you just click on that rule number to get to it. And it'll bring you to this home screen here. And at the right side of the page at the top, you're going to click edit. So you can be able to update that comply date, and it'll pop out this edit box. Okay. Again, this action due date, action due description should already be pre-filled in, and you shouldn't be able to change those. Those will be filled in by the licensing specialist. So I'll go ahead and fill it in. Clean it has a, okay. Mm, okay. So those boxes will already be pre-filled by the specialist, the action due date and the action due description. So as the resource worker, you will go in and update the comply date whenever the foster home has come into compliance with this regulation. You'll go in and put that comply date. So say they complied on the 26th. And you'll put in your comment. So they're able to do it before. So if the specialist went out on the, let's say they went out on the 25th, but they made it, they need to, well, I guess we have them comply by, can we give them, 2 days, or they to comply by that day? But if we put an action due date and you end up checking and they come into compliance before the action is due, you can't put the day before. Okay, so you'd update the comply date, you'll put in your description, and you'll change the result from non-compliant to compliant and hit save. Everything should update here on this home screen. And then again, you can upload any files or pictures or anything if you needed to over here under notes and attachments, and by clicking upload files. And that's it. Any questions?
Thank you, Jasmine.
Welcome. Okay, did you want me to show the alternative compliance?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So for submitting an alternative compliance, um, so you guys will have they'll have access to the worker portal. Will they also have access to the provider portal? Because it can be done from the provider portal and it can be done from here in the worker portal.
Yes, that's my understanding.
So they'll be working in the worker portal.
They'll have access to both.
They'll have access to both. Okay. So I'll show the provider portal. And I'll also show how to do it from the worker portal. So this is the provider portal that you guys should have access to. You'll go to placement and residential licensing. Once you log in and everything, this is the home screen that it'll bring you to. You'll go to placement and residential licensing and hit manage. You'll go under manage facilities and hit get started. Your facility should show up over here, which will be Division of Children and Family Services. And you'll go into it by clicking view. So I'm going to use this placement facility and hit view. Once you hit view, this is the screen that should show up. And in order to go in to submit an alternative compliance, you'll go to related links down here, this very last tab. And you'll go to submit alternative compliance request. And all of these steps for the provider portal is also on that step-by-step guide that I sent you guys. So here is all of the ones that I've already created. They'll show under alternative compliance request. To start a new one, I'm going to hit start alternative compliance request. The request date will auto-populate whenever you go and hit start alternative compliance. Whenever you go to enter it, that will be the request date. So here is where you will fill in your narrative, what you're requesting, a special consideration for or alternative compliance. So So you'll put in your description, whatever you're requesting a special consideration for or alternative compliance, and you'll go down in order to add the regulation. You'll hit this box, add regulation. Okay, so here the title will always be whatever type of foster home that you're submitting that special consideration for. So whether it's a regular foster home, a therapeutic foster home, or whether it's for an adoption home, you'll select that here. So we're going to say it's for a regular foster care home. The section will be the regulations that you need to pull for the type of special consideration you're submitting. So to allow the two kids to sleep in a room measuring 95 square feet will be under sleeping arrangements. So I'm going to choose sleeping arrangement. And if you're not sure, you can also always hit all, and it'll just pull up all those regulations, and you can just filter through and see which one you need. Same for the regulation number. If you know the regulation number, you can go ahead and choose it. If not, you can hit all, and it'll just pull up all the regulations under sleeping arrangements, and you can choose from there. So I'll just leave it at all and hit apply filter. And it brought up all the regulations that's under 209, section 209 in the book under sleeping arrangements. And the one that we need is 2092. I'm sorry. It should be. Yes, 2092. It's not in order.
That is not in order, and I've
Yeah.
already let them know that it needs to be fixed.
Okay. So the regulation we need is 2092. Each bedroom should have at least 50 square feet of floor space per occupant. So we're gonna hit select and scroll down to save. So once you hit select, it'll light up, and then you just scroll down to save. And then it auto populated and filled in their regulation for me on this screen. So then you'll just hit submit, and it's submitted. And that's all you need to do for that. If you need to upload documents for this alternative compliance that you submitted, you'll need to go back to facility, hit that back arrow to back to facility, and hit document. And you're able to upload documents here. And you should also be able to go under, go out of here. Let's see. Okay, so yes, so the two places that you'll be able to upload the documents for is from this home screen. You go to documents and upload documents from there, or from the worker portal. So this is all that you have to do for it from the provider portal. Does anybody have any questions about submitting alternative compliance from provider portal?
So is this taking the place of us submitting our package to Sandy? Are we just doing this, like after we get AD approval, then we're submitting our waiver request through this portal?
It's always get approval from your AD and Sandy. Like Sandy needs to always be aware of it because she has her procedures that she needs to do. And so instead of sending the email, you'll just enter the information into the ELS system.
Okay.
Any question? Jess, can you show them through the worker portal?
We'll go to. So as with before, you just go into your actual facility, which will be Division of Children and Family Services. You can search for it from the search bar. Or if it appears under here under my facility for you, you can go to it from there. And from here, from your facility's homepage, you can scroll to the right side and scroll down and go to homes. All of your homes should appear here. You can click on the home that you're trying to submit an alternative compliance for. So we'll do it for this home. And to the right side of the home page for that home, you'll scroll down until you see alternative compliance. And it appears here. I'll click the drop down arrow and hit new. And then you'll go in and fill in all of this information. So we'll do the start date, which will be the date that you're requesting the special consideration or the non-compliance. You won't enter an end date. You'll leave that blank. The request narrative is the same as we put before. The description, the alternative compliance you're requesting, or the special consideration that you're requesting. I'm just gonna use the same. Okay. As in the provider portal, the same thing. You'll click this add regulation box to add a regulation. Okay. Here you have to click this drop down arrow right here for it to display the regulations. You'll need to go over to this filter box here to filter out the regulation that you need. So you'll hit this filter box at the top right corner. Same thing here for title. It's going to be whichever type of foster home that you're submitting this special consideration or alternative compliance for. Say it's a regular foster care home. The section is going to be the regulations that you need for the special consideration or alternative compliance you're submitting. So it'll be sleeping arrangements here for the square feet. The regulation number, you can put it as all, or if you know which regulation number it is, you can choose it. We'll do all for here. Hit search. So now, once you hit search, you should only see the regulations for a regular foster care home under Section 209 for sleeping arrangements. So then you can go down and choose the regulation you need, which for us will be 209.2, which will be here, and you hit select. And once you hit select, it auto-populated for you here under the licensing regulation. So that's filled in. Here, you guys don't have to fill anything out in here. I'll see if it lets me save it because this is where the licensing specialist should fill out whether we support it or not. So I'm not sure if these fields will be available to you guys when you log in into ELS, but staff recommendation and supervisor decision, you guys shouldn't have to fill anything for. You should only be filling in the information section and the licensing regulation. And you'll hit save.
And I made a note, Jasmine, to check on it just to see if
Okay.
those two will be locked.
Okay. So once you hit save, it'll bring you back to the home screen for the home. And if you need to upload files and documents for that alternative compliance or special consideration, you can do it here under files. You just hit upload files. I'll click on files. And you can hit upload files from that screen or you can hit add files from here. And it'll let you upload any files that's there on your computer. And that's it. Does anybody have any questions about entering alternative compliance under the worker portal?
And I'm not sure if you guys do anything else in pearls. Those were the two major things that I was aware of. Is there anything that we're missing that you guys should be able to do when it's concerned to licensing?
I can think of.
Um,
And I will update that step-by-step guide to include doing it on the worker portal as well. Because I only included submitting alternative compliance for provider portal instead of worker portal. So I'll add that and get that updated copy sent back out to you guys.
so I also see we have Shay and Chelsea, our other supervisor and program manager. Are we missing anything? Do you guys have any feedback from licensing?
Yeah, it seemed like it was pretty well covered.
Yes, we did some discovering ourselves this morning, but you guys pretty much covered everything.
Okay. So I'm gonna double check the information that I have provided you guys in reference to being able to utilize the provider portal and the worker portal. So let me double check that, and I will get all of that information out to you all. So I do have a question for DCFS. When do you think that your resource workers can be ready to start entering like alternative compliances and just being able to work in ELS? So I know we need to first make sure that they have access. So do you think by Thursday they can start submitting their alternative compliances this way, or no? Just give me some feedback.
Can you at least give it like another week? I'm just speaking from, I need to go over this with my staff and make sure, because some of them are still confused between alternative compliance and policy. So I want to make sure I kind of like hammer that out with them first.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else? I heard 1 week. Okay. Well, I'll check with my team to see if there's anything else that needs to be addressed. If not, then Jasmine, if you're finished. Okay, well, this will conclude our training session for today. We've recorded it. I have to ask Becky how we get this information out to you guys. Maybe you can share it with your teams. And we'll just kind of go from there. So just please have patience with us because this is a new system for us as well. Yes, Laura, I'm gonna try to get this sent out as soon as I figure out how to do it. All right, well, thank you everyone for your time. Appreciate it, and send us the email if you have questions.
She knows.